Ayaka, Ito, and Sarah then starts blaming each other on who poisoned Ayato's drink. Ayaka blames Ito for the crime, as he handed her the beverage, saying to give it to her brother, as he will be running late in the meeting. She feels foolish for not realizing that this was just his plan to poison him. The Oni snaps back, declaring that he never did such a thing, because that would be a very terrible idea for a gift. Shinobu helps defend him, saying that he would never do such a thing, never in a million years. Ito stands from his chair again, and angrily points at Sarah, blaming her for the poison. When he bought the drink, she must have tampered with it, after hearing that it was going to be his gift to the commissioner, because she probably got jealous of their very awesome friendship. Sarah then lightly strikes him, replying that he missed a very crucial detail. During their entire conversation, he never told her once that it was a gift for Ayato, only that the drink wasn't for him, but a gift for someone else. He even teased him that she likely has never heard of this person, so there was absolutely no way she could have planned it out. Heizo thinks of the possibility that it could still be a coincidence, but luckily for her, he doesn't believe in coincidences. If Sarah had to guess, she would blame Ayaka for the poison, as knowing Ito and his past crime records, he would never do something as terrible as this, like Shinobu said. Although Ayaka eliminating her own brother also doesn't make sense to her. Ayaka instantly denies it, and still believes it's Ito, Toma backing her up. Everyone then picks a side on who they personally trust, and a very intense argument between the whole group occurs. Heizo quickly shuts it down, mentioning on how they lack information, so even if they argued for hours, they wouldn't be able to make a solid conclusion yet, only that the three are the suspects. Although, he is already confident that he figured out who it is, but still needs to find their motive, so stays quiet for now. He then dismisses their meeting, and warns everyone to be careful, as the murderer might plan to eliminate again, specifically mentioning Ayato. He chuckles, saying he's underestimating him, and Toma tells Heizo not to worry, as he promises to protect his masters. Later, Kazuha finally arrives at Inazuma, and Heizo happily greets him. He then informs him about the most recent news and changes in the two tragic events. Kazuha, wanting to help, requests he take him to the crime scene. At the fireworks shop, Kazuha was sadly unable to identify what element were the traces, but can smell a faint scent of purity everywhere around the house. Heizo then invites him to lunch, which he accepts, and they start discussing about the mystery. The detective asks him on what he thought was the murderer's motive, based on the information he showed, and Kazuha paused, thought for a second, and said, "It's greed." He can't really explain it, but that's what the sound of nature was hinting at. This made his head tilt from interest. After their lunch, he then spots Miko, and bids his friend farewell, as he now has other business to deal with. Before Miko can leave the area, Heizo asks her one more time if he can talk to Yoimiya's ghost again, trying to gather more clues. Miko generously agrees to do so, and she can now even extend their talk, but the payment this time will be doubled, since the ritual consumes a lot of her energy. He excitedly agrees at her proposal, and says he'll pay them more later. 1 hour later, they arrived at her shrine. Miko does her really special ritual again, but this time, with more sigils surrounding her. When she's finished, the same hologram from before appeared again, but looking much bigger. She handed her staff to him, and being experienced this time, he wasn't as freaked out when he gets transported to the border, Yoimiya's ghost staring blankly at him. Heizo noticed on how the staff he was holding was making her uncomfortable, so he hid it behind his back, which seemed to work. He asks her on what were the last things she felt before her murder, and what did she think was their motive for getting rid of you. The ghost sheepishly says, "Winter, yes, my last memory. Don't feel sad. I am only the double, the true bird, flies free. I did this all for Inazuma. I'm sorry, Kamisato, it was necessary. Just hoping my wish comes true." What was their name again? Hold on. Oh, yes, the well-known. Without warning, the ghost disappears, and Heizo gets transported back into the real world, being confused about the abrupt ending. Miko says to him that someone else is blocking her spell, hence she couldn't maintain it for long, and had to end it quickly. If she hadn't done so, the counterspell might have made him be trapped in the border forever, a very scary thought. He thanks her for the help, and says that his new information does make things a lot more complicated, but definitely makes the mystery more interesting to solve. Miko is glad to hear that, and thinks that this murder mystery should be definitely written in a novel. Suddenly, Sarah comes barging through the shrine, with clear urgency in her voice. She sighs when she finally found the detective, and exhaustedly walks over to him. She claims that after taking a very close look at the pictures he gave in their meeting, she has found new major clues that will definitely aid him. Sarah then gives Heizo the 2 pictures, and requests for him to look closely. He doesn't understand it at first, but soon realizes something is odd. In the first picture, you can find a barrel in the background, and in the second picture, it completely disappears. After taking a more closer look, you can see Sayu's tail in the barrel, meaning she must have witnessed the elimination happen, or most likely, is the one who committed it. He leaves, feeling determined, and waves at the 2 of them goodbye. Miko then suddenly teleports to him, saying he had forgotten her 1 million more payment. Heizo laughs it off, and says for her to not worry, as Sarah is right there, if Miko has inquiries. Sarah confusingly questions, on what payment, and Heizo runs off, not elaborating. Heizo runs around, all over the city, looking for the small nimble ninja, a task that is a lot harder than he expected. After hours of searching, he finally found her, sleeping in the forest. He hurriedly wakes Sayu up, making her jump in shock, almost accidentally falling over. She wasn't expecting any visitors today, as it was her day off, and gets irritated at him for ruining her sleep. Heizo jokingly replies that she will definitely get more than enough sleep when she's at prison for her crimes. Wait, what? Sayu confusingly screams, saying she didn't do anything wrong, she promises. He then shows her the pictures of Yoimiya's body, where the barrel can be seen in the background, and it clearly having Sayu's tail. This makes her become the most likely suspect for the elimination. She saw her eliminated body before anyone else, yet didn't even try to report it at all. To add to this, Sayu tried to hide from him when she had no reason to, unless she was the one who got rid of her. He thinks that this mystery is solved unless she can provide good reasonings. Sayu then defensively claims that he's got it all wrong, and that she will tell the story of what happened, if it means proving her innocence, although it should have been kept a secret. Earlier, before the elimination, she had received a commission from Yoimiya, stating for her to visit the fireworks shop, and then put a disguise on her, making her look completely like Kujo Sarah. She doesn't know much on why Yoimiya wanted to look like Sarah, and just told the ninja that it was for a special mission that no one knows about. She remembered her looking sad, although desperately tried to hide it with her joyful attitude. After that, her commission was done, and went back to the estate. The princess asked on where did she go, and she tells her about the commission. Ayaka is extremely shocked by her announcement, and urges her to check up on the fireworks girl, telling her to keep the whole affair a secret. She does what she's told, and goes to the shop to find Yoimiya eliminated. She was about to report it, but remembered her past lessons on how you might catch the murderer if you stay in the crime scene, as they might come back to hide the body or get rid of their fingerprints, so she chose to stay, hide, and wait. She shamefully says that the plan didn't go well at all, as Heizo arrived, and it obviously wasn't him who committed the crime. She then realized on how just hiding there makes her look extremely suspicious, so she sneakily left, just hoping no one saw her, and unluckily, Heizo found her. After the story, he nods, and snaps his fingers, thanking her for her time. Sayu is confused on how easily he believed him, when he was hard accusing her a second before. Heizo then apologizes, saying he knew that it wasn't her who did it, and just pretended to be accusing the ninja, so she would tell the story, knowing that it was supposed to be a secret. Sayu is annoyed by his cleverness, and angrily sleeps back again. As he stares at her, he starts to realize that maybe a nap could help his brain think, as he is still missing that one last crucial detail that would tie everything together. The detail being on how she was eliminated. He decides to doze off near a lake at the forest, closing his eyes, proceeding to fall into a deep sleep. Suddenly, he starts dreaming about being in the ocean, being surrounded by nothing but water. He started feeling the water, and it felt very cold, not in a pleasant way. The water was very nice though, so he tried to tell others to jump in, but his whole body gets submerged in the water, making it impossible for him to scream. When he finally realizes something crucial, and he wakes up, feeling very tired, but determined to solve the case. He invites every vision holder to a special emergency meeting again, Kazuha thinking that this would be their last, as he found the last piece of the puzzle. As soon as everyone arrives, he aggressively starts by accusing Ayaka for attempting to assassinate the commissioner. Her eyes widen, and she insisted that he has made a mistake, as she was completely innocent, but Kazuha stands his ground, being confident she is guilty. In Ayato's first assassination, Ayaka said that she couldn't protect him because she was buying groceries, but when he arrived in Inazuma, Toma was there, shopping for the clan, alone, meaning she lied. She's also a sword user, perfectly matching with his scar, someone that Ayato trusts, and is someone that the guards trusted, as the assassin easily got inside their office. What really solidified it was the next attempt, the tampered beverage. Poison can only be bought by officials, and is strictly illegal to be bought by criminals, which Ito is clearing him. That leaves only Sarah and Ayaka. Since Ito has never mentioned to her that the drink he was buying was for Ayato, that could only mean that she poisoned all, or most of the drinks, but in that case, countless more poisoning reports would have occurred in Inazuma, and currently, only Ayato is the one who got poisoned by the drink. He claims that Ayaka is the culprit for both of the attempts, and is Ayato's assassin. Tears filled her eyes, turning her face away, before completely leaving the table, to go hide in the bathroom, glancing at his brother, before hurriedly closing the door. Kokomi wonders on what could have been her motive, hypothesizing that she wanted to be the head of the clan. Ito then questions if he knows who eliminated Yoimiya, as he's afraid Kazuha had forgotten about that part. He thought about it all day, on who could be her murderer, and concluded that the best way to know that is by knowing her cause of death. He thought it was by freezing, at first, because of the shaking and cold line, but in her second message, she mentioned on how she last remembered winter, and if they put the two lines together, it conveys that she felt cold, but not like winter, so not something like ice, snow or cryo. It wasn't until the dream last night that he finally understood the sensation she was trying to convey. She was eliminated by drowning in cold water, perfectly matching up with the few descriptions she provided. Since the place she got eliminated in doesn't have any near water source at all, it means that the water was taken to her instead, and that the imposter extremely likely wields a hydrovision. There are only two of them in this meeting, Ayato and Kokomi, but he's absolutely sure it was Ayato that was guilty. Judging by Ayaka's demeanor, she knows who it is as well, ever since the beginning. Kokomi was also with Goro, giving her a strong clear. He then recites on what he thinks were the timeline of events, based on the clues he has found, that would answer the question on what were the motives of the Kamisato siblings. Ayato plans to eliminate Kujo Sara. The plan was very likely politically motivated, to keep their clan have a stronger image, but when her sister heard the scheme, she didn't approve of it, thinking it's too harsh, but he continued with it anyway. Out of guilt, Ayaka told Yoimiya about his brother's plan, and on how Sarah might be gone tomorrow morning. The fireworks girl was instantly against that happening, as that will cause chaos in Inazuma, and wonders if she can prevent it from occurring. That's when she gave the idea of disguising into Kujo Sara, so she would be eliminated instead, not the real one, making it be less impactful to the nation, and by that time, hopefully Ayato changed his mind. Ayaka disagreed with her doing it, but tomorrow morning, she does it anyway, for the sake of the future of Inazuma. Ayato then eliminates her, thinking it's Kujo Sara, but it wasn't. After that, Ayato didn't stop his plan, unlike she had hoped for. So the princess had no choice but to stop her own brother, or else her sacrifice would be in vain. Heizo slowly, but confidently says, that those were the motives, behind the Kamisato siblings. Ayato stands up from his chair, laughing like a maniac, and applauded him, for finding out his big secret, that didn't even succeed. He then angrily tells him, that is it so wrong, that they get ahead this time, as they had already given the others, quite the chance. Ayako, who heard everything, loudly opens the door, and reveals that his brother, has been acting extremely weird, absolutely nothing like him at all. Raiden then walks to the exit, turning back to the commissioner. She says, that he should see her later, in Tenshukaku, where his divine punishment awaits. The effects of the Tatarigami were a lot better than I expected, although I thought he would be able to cause more chaos. I'm sorry Kamisato clan, it's part of war. The end. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribe, and like, if you ended up enjoying this video, as I put a lot of effort into it. Comment below on what you thought about this story, and if you managed to catch the murderer. Thank you for all the support in this series. Bye.